Here we are, episode 209, where I share with you emergency tips for homeowners. Welcome everyone to this episode of the AskJasonGelios show. I'm Jason Gelios, Michigan Realtor, and I'm excited to share with you these emergency tips that every homeowner should absolutely know. I'm going to be sharing with you 10 of these. Some are general tips, and the other part is about whether or not it's weather related. And you should have these things in place, whether you're a new homeowner or an existing homeowner, been in your home for decades. Some of these you may not know. So before we dive into this though, I ask this on every episode that I do. If you can go ahead and follow me on social media, the links are in the description below. And if you'd like to receive this episode and other valuable homeowner tips in your email once a week, please visit it'sallabouttherealestate.com, and the pop-up will pop up and you can put in your name and email and you will receive this in your email once a week. Of course, it's free, the knowledge is free, and you can unsubscribe at any time, although I hope you don't. Now, emergency tips for homeowners. So let's go ahead and dive into this. Now, the first one is review your current homeowner's policy, right? Homeowners insurance should cover the things that you feel it covers. And if you've purchased something big for your home, could be a 65-inch TV or a brand new appliance, you want to make sure that your insurance agent is aware of that, because should you have a fire or whatnot, or something happens, a flood, hurricane, wherever, okay, depending on where you live, you want to make sure that that's going to be covered. I know in terms of the TV, right, if your insurance agent thinks that you have a 43-inch TV and it's a plain one, whatever, and then you got a 65-inch, they might kind of question that, whatever. And you may not have to call, but look at your current homeowner's insurance policy and see if everything that you feel is covered is actually covered. Now, number two, make sure you have an emergency fund to cover expenses. You just want to have an emergency fund because your homeowner's insurance won't cover every single item. It just won't. Number three, create copies of documents, paper records, store them in a box, right? A non-flammable type safe. I believe they have these smaller ones where you can put passports in there, social security cards, whatever. Okay, save that in a spot where it's fire retardant or resistant, whatever. Okay, that way if there is a fire or whatnot, they won't get damaged. Okay, only the box will. So you can even go one step further and do a safety deposit box, but I recommend just having something safely located in your home. Okay, so number four is develop an emergency plan. So you want to have, for example, if there's a fire, you want to have a meetup location. You don't want, one kid going out the front, one going out the back, one going out the side, whatever. Just, you want to have a meetup location. Hey, we're going to all meet up at the neighbor's house, or we're going to meet up by the mailbox if there's a fire. Okay, just, you have to have this meetup plan in place, because you never know, in the heat of the moment you could get separated or whatnot. You may have to go out the window if there's a fire. Okay. Number five, regularly check all carbon monoxide and smoke detectors. About every 6 months you should be checking these. If you can check them sooner, that's great. More often, that's great. But typically every 6 months you want to actually check these things. And I would change the batteries out every year no matter what, because you don't want these failing and you forget about it. Life happens. We're not thinking about the smoke alarm that's on the ceiling. You're just not looking up. You're not thinking about it. Okay, so make sure that you have that. Number six, keep multiple fire extinguishers around your home. You have a basement, keep one in the basement, especially near, close to where the furnace area is, enough to where you can grab it should something happen in that area. Which, by the way, I think I read somewhere where that's the number one spot where fires start is, the furnace, all that stuff, water heater, all that stuff, because you have pilots, you have, gas lines, all that stuff, okay? In the furnace, you have flames. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the number one spot. Keep one underneath the kitchen sink in case something happens with the stove. Keep one in your garage, and keep one upstairs. So if you have a 2-story home, keep one upstairs somewhere safe. Now, I talked a little bit earlier at the start of this episode about weather emergencies and what you would do for that. So I got 4 additional tips as far as how you can be prepared for an emergency and as it's related to weather. Okay, this could be hurricanes, really bad rain, tornadoes, whatever the case may be. So again, create an emergency kit. Okay, you have to have the proper supplies. You should have flashlights, some extra batteries. If you have pets, have an additional kit for them. If you have to go in the basement and you're gonna have to be in the basement for a little bit, maybe throw some food in storage there, some canned food that will last a long time, whatever the case may be. The general rule is you should have enough supplies for about 72 hours. And by the way, if you have canned food, all right, in the basement, if you have to be in the basement for a while, let's say a tornado warning, you want to have a can opener as well. Don't forget the little stuff. Oh, and maybe even a weather radio. I know we have cell phones and these cell phones do great things and give us awesome updates and whatnot, but a standard weather radio can make it a lot easier and it's probably more reliable. Because I never know. Oh, and keep some phone chargers in the handy spot too. Additional phone chargers. Number 2, make sure you have enough water for everyone. Water's key, right? Most of our body's water. So you want to make sure that you have bottled water or just get your own containers, but really bottled water lasts a long time, and throw a case in the basement. Again, should you have to go down there or wherever you're going to be, I guess, sheltered, okay? Now, a side note too is if you're storing food, you should have food storage containers, not just regular containers that are meant for, let's say, closet items and things like that. You want to have food grade storage containers, okay? That's just what the experts recommend. Number 3, if you know bad weather is headed your way, right, you get a slight warning that it is incoming, charge your phones, charge your devices, whatever. For one, you don't want to be sheltered and bored. You don't want it to just be sitting there. I mean, heaven forbid you want to read a book, but side note there, but basically make sure that your phones are all charged. And you should have extra charging cords as well where you're gonna be sheltered. So, and number 4, which is the last one for the weather portion of this, is understand how hazardous weather can impact you, your family, and your home. Okay, you don't, obviously, if there's a tornado, you don't want to be hanging out by the windows. Okay, you want to make sure that you are in a safe spot, which again, I keep mentioning the basement because that's probably the safest spot in a home that has a basement. If you don't have a basement, you should make your way to a shelter area or like a commercial building where those are built stronger than a house. So understand how that is, and then pay attention to local alerts. If your local weather station or news outlet says you need to evacuate, chances are you're going to want to know about that as soon as possible. So I hope you guys enjoyed these tips. These are absolutely critical to know when you own a home. So if you found this valuable, hey, you know what? Share a tip in the comments below. Tell me what you think about these tips or share your own. And be sure, again, to visit my website. It's allabouttherealestate.com and sign up to receive this in your email through the pop-up form once a week. Otherwise, I'm JasonGelios, Michigan Realtor. Thanks everyone for watching this episode of the Ask Jason Gelios Show. Be sure to visit the links in the description below to pick up your copy of my real estate book, Think Like a Realtor. It's a little book about buying and selling residential real estate through the eyes of a realtor. It's real world advice, tips, whether you're a new agent in the business or you are a home buyer or even looking to sell a home. This is great advice. So I really appreciate it if you guys visit those links, pick up your copy, and go ahead and share a review, good or bad, if you like it, if you hate it, okay? But get your copy today. Thank you.